Why, hello there, and welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About Death. My name is Chris, and I have a very interesting episode today, and a very important one too. And I'm also going to have a special guest by the name of Barbara. Now, for those people that have been following us for a long time, Barbara is part of the comedy collective that I do, and she has a bit of a story to tell about this topic. She did talk about it at our live show that we had in Melbourne, but for all the podcast people out there, we're now going to give you a little bit of insight into exactly what happened to her around the passing of her beloved Reggie. So welcome. So I just, sit back, relax, or if you're driving or if you're walking or whatever you're doing, hope you've had a good day or a good night, and we'll get into it. So one of the first things that I really want to talk about today is research. That's a very broad topic, but research the funeral home or the potential funeral home of where you're looking to host your loved one's funeral, or for them to actually look after you. I know with our funeral home, I've set it all up purely and solely for how I would want my loved one to be treated. But how I run my business is very different to how others are. And I've only just figured that out the other day. Also, of another company which I was recommended for a fellow friend of ours, and found out that this company has a really fancy office and it looks the part and everything else like that. But behind the scenes, they don't do anything. What I mean by that is they're great at the front. They're probably really good at administration. Well, actually, this company's not. But anyway, now we're talking a different state. We're not talking Melbourne. And I won't give out the name or anything else like that. But it's important that people are aware to ask certain questions. Now, with this company, they, like I said, have a beautiful presence as you walk in. Nice facility, all that type of stuff. But the only thing a few things that they don't have is a mortuary. I would think that would be one of the first things that you would need to do as a funeral home. And secondly, that person that goes into their care doesn't get prepared until the day or two before the funeral. So if a person has passed away today and the funeral's not for a week's time, in 6 days' time is when they'll do the prep. Now, for me personally, if I got someone today, I would want to try to either do the prep today or tomorrow to enable the features and everything to close the way that it should. If you don't, you run the risk of many things, right? I can't guarantee that on the 6th day that person is going to be viewable, whereas if I see them today, I'm then going to be able to do the treatments that I need to do to make that person look as good as possible without trying to do invasive procedures. I hope that all makes sense. Now, what I mean by, procedures outside of the norm preparation of washing and dressing. So they would be things like embalming or hypodermic needling or things like that are going to be able to preserve with a chemical. And some things can be done without having to pierce the skin or anything else like that. So there is many ways to do that. So to get back to this company, they hire, the norm in some places now is that there's this huge, big central mortuary that has staff that aren't related to your funeral home at all, and they're in charge of your loved one. Now, okay, I get it if the price is right. Okay, yep. You have a body that goes there, you look after them. Well, I'm assuming you look after them. You're there, it's all done, and then you just come on the day and pick them up. Well, to me, no. I would want to know, especially if I entrusted my loved one into there, that my arranger or the person that I've dealt with through this process has actually gone to their mortuary to find out if dad has the items or mum has those items that I left with he or she. Okay. Now, in this instance, that's not happening. So I can't even guarantee that the person that's going to be on the other end is going to be dad or mum or grandma, right? I'm sure it will be. But for me personally, if you're going to be a funeral home, get yourself a friggin' mortuary. Get yourself a cool room. Get yourself up to date with what you should be doing. This thing about having central mortuaries, to me, is just a cut cost type of situation. And any man and his dog in Australia can go and start up a funeral home, and you think, oh yeah, I don't need this and I don't need that, and I've got a place there. But you don't know these people. You only need you're only talking to the person that you're dealing with on the phone. Yes, mum's going to be delivered there, but you don't know. They're just a number in a huge fridge. And for me personally, I don't like that. That's just my thing. But I I don't know this company, the mortuary company. I don't know any of them, so I can't give feedback on that. But this funeral home was recommended through another one of my suppliers, and when I told them the situation that was in front, they got blown away by it, and and even to the point of the funeral home lying to the family. Oh, yes, we're waiting on this. Oh, well, they haven't got back to me yet. Or this. Oh, I haven't had that yet. You know what? To me, that is a load of bullshit. It is. And I'll say it's bullshit. All right. And I believe that if you are going to be entrusting someone, make sure, A, do you have your own mortuary? Yes or no? If they say yes, okay, is it on site? No. Whereabouts is it? Does any other funeral homes have any connection to that? Yes or no? If they say yes, then don't go with them. Don't go with them. Right? And now I know people are out there going to say, well, once you're dead, you're dead. Well, you're not, okay? It's a little bit more about dignity and respect of that person. And, when it's in a different state, it's hard to control. And especially for me, I like things to be done in a certain way. And I want families to be well looked after. And I don't have much control over that, not unless I get involved and transfer and process and all of that type of stuff. And at the end of the day, that maybe should have happened at the start, but we didn't. We didn't go down that line because everything's going to happen in that state, all right, and not in my state. So things are so different to Victoria. I'm only just going by what my heart says. I can't vouch. I mean, they're probably both beautiful companies, probably very nice people, but still, I want to know when that person is going to be prepped. Tell me when dad's going to be washed and dressed. Can I be a part of that process? Can I help dress? I can guarantee if my family went back, they'd say, no, you won't be able to do that. What type of condition is dad in? Oh, we won't know until the day before the funeral. No, I'm sorry, but you go and find out. I'm paying that company a certain amount of money to look after my loved one, not to just keep him on a rack. That is a load of horse crap. So I know it's a bit of a rant, but it's been in my head for days and days and days now, and I am totally over companies that promise the earth but can't deliver, and lying to people in their most vulnerable situation. I mean, even this person, this family, doesn't even have a written quote from them, doesn't have a written contract. They don't even know if the day that they've organised is actually set in concrete. They don't even know how much they have to pay this company. So, and it's been nearly a week. So tell me if that's right or not. It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Well, we had another instance with our lovely Barbara, and she, as you know, has come on board. She's a bit of a mix of multiple personalities and people, and I think one of the the best things that we can do is get her on and have a little bit of a chat to her about what happened with her and Reggie. So let's just get here in. Yep. Come on in, Barbara. Oh, thank darling. How are you? It's lovely to see you here today, isn't it? Oh, yes. You don't... Come on, you don't need all of that, do you, darlings? Come on, settle down, you bunch of... There you go. How are you, Chrissy? No, I'm really good. Now, I was just talking before about expectations of funeral directors or what I believe has happened, and you had a similar instance when Reggie died. Yes. What had happened is... for those out there in podcasts, see, I'm getting up with all this lingo podcasty and TikTok. Well, I actually, I hope my voice is coming out all right here. I can hear myself in my headphones. Yes, I hope everything's good. No, it's perfect. Oh, good, yes. Now, so when Reggie died, Reggie, my poor, but bless his soul, he's a lovely man, died about 10 years ago. Yes, 10 years ago, and we used to work together in the hospital. I was a domestic and he was a mortuary technician and a bit of an orderly, a bit of a jack of all trades. Oh, geez, did we get up to lots of stuff around that mortuary area, but that's another episode, darling. And but when my poor Reggie died, he got a bit of a tummy. I thought it was a tummy flu, a bit of the runs and stuff like that, but no, it ended up being a little bit more than that. And I saw he declined quite rapidly to the point where obviously he passed away. Then what the nursing staff did, and I knew them, darling, I really did, but, it's different when someone is laying stiff and, they're not having to help pay the bills of Medicare and all that anymore. And I know that's very odd saying that, but it's so true, isn't it, darling? Well, I had a similar situation like that, Barb. Where once people pass away, they think that that's it. Oh yes, I totally get it. But anyway, let's move on with that because it's all happened and I can't go back on the past. But look, didn't they back in the day, people, for all the young folk out there, we had the yellow pages. I don't know. A lot of people used to use it as a doorstop. I don't know if anyone's got them anymore. They'd be bloody worth a whole lot on the black market, but a lot of businesses have folded due to that big word, this COVID word. Yes. But anyway, and I sort of knew a few directors that were coming in and out of the hospital. They were like come at night time. They were like, the dark angels, they come and take, and then all of a sudden you turn around and they're all gone and you go, holy crap, where have you gone? And so I was really, really in shock. I didn't know who to choose. And the thing is too, darlings, is that you don't, at that time, I wasn't expecting my poor Reggie to go. We had discussed about what was going to happen, because that's very important for you to do some research prior to. And, so then what had happened is I just chose one that was different to the people that I knew. Now, I know you're probably going to say, why didn't you? Well, our situation was a little bit different. They were corporates, and I like the family type businesses. I don't like, giving money to people that are just going to piss it up the wall or something, And I wanted my Reggie to be well looked after. And I'm sure that he wasn't he? Like at the time? Yes. Well, I think everything went okay. Look, I was involved in some of the process, but to be honest, because I was a female in a male-dominated business, it was like, I was sort of shoved to the side a little bit. But in today's society, it's the opposite, isn't it, darling? You've got more females in the industry than what you have men. And I wish Reggie, if he was going to go, that may have happened. But look, there's nothing wrong with males and females combined. So I chose this fellow, and he just said, "Oh, come back in a few days." And I'm thinking, well, hang on, I want to
start putting things in place. And look, as it went along, it worked. I didn't probably research as much as I really wanted to, and I didn't really know what was going on. Now, I did get to see Reggie, and he didn't look like Reggie. I was a little bit disappointed. It was like he had got an apprentice to come in and do the preparation, and he had this smile on his face. And yes, it was a different smile, and yes, I was a little bit thrown back. But they do say that once someone passes away, they don't always look the same, and I get that, and I think that's probably where it all came in.
So when you did you say anything to this director at the time about when this all happened?
Well, yes, I did, but I don't know if he truly was listening to what I was saying. And because I was so upset, and we don't have any kids, darling, you see. Well, no, we do have kids. I'm only just telling a bit of a porky pie. Of course we've got kids. But yes, look, they didn't want to be a part of the process, and which was a bit of a shame because we had raised the kids to be, individuals. And I have to give them credit that they are good at, at a lot of things. But yes, death was not really spoken about, even though we saw it every day where we were in the hospital. And obviously Reggie had been obviously dealing with them, being the mortuary technician. And so look, it was a difficult process, but out of it all, and as you have said before, Chris, that it's all about research, and I think that's the most important. It's okay to ring around companies or get some recommendations off friends. I think people think because it's low in cost, it means it's a load of crap. I would think the opposite. I think you need to go with the ones that you feel the most comfortable with. And I think a lot of the time when you're on the phone, you tend to get a good relationship. Well, you try to get that good relationship, don't you, darlings? It's all about the talking and the making you feel a little bit warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. And, because you are going through a very different situation. And I think that's important that, that you do seek that. So, yes, I think you really just need to reach out and, yes, and look, even if you have to pop down to their facility and just have a little bit of a face-to-face with them, that can work. And look, please don't be shocked if some are in commercial areas, because a lot of the time, depending on where you're located, councils will put you into those areas. That doesn't mean that they're, shipping mum or dad out in a pallet or anything, but yes, you just, a lot of the old ones that have been around for 100-odd years were able to get the spots that they were. There was a little bit of probably money under the table, I'm not sure. But, yes, you just go and have a bit of a face-to-face and get that feeling. I think that's it, darling.
Well, look, Barb, thank you so much. And I know, you've been very busy in preparing for your new show.
Yes. It's going to be the Christmas Spectacular. I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously, Bazza, he's been on the TikTok Live for a while. And yes, I went on there and there was a lot of younger folk that were trolling me. I thought, you pigs. But anyway, that's okay, darling. They won't be allowed out past 7:30 at night because, they have to go to Betty Buys, put their Jimmy Jams on. But anyway, yes. But look, thank you so much for letting me come in, darling. And that's, I'm getting the applause too. Is that like time to go, Barbara?
Well, yeah. Yeah, go and make yourself a cuppa, and I'll see you shortly anyway.
Oh, thanks, darling. Bye-bye. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye.
Wow. So that was Barbara. And she was being able to express a little bit about her situation that she had. And look, it's, sometimes we go with companies because other people have told us to go with companies, and I don't know. I whatever price it is. But look, at the end of the day, if you've got a certain amount of money left over and you can do it a little bit more reasonable, and you're able to then have some money left that you can then invest on behalf of that person, or put it into trust of your family, or whatever it is. I mean, even if you spend it, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it wasn't your money to do with whatever you wanted with. But if you're in charge of it, then maybe think about that. I don't know. I never got the opportunity to see any of either my mum or dad's money because they didn't have any. And even the material things, my brother's got all of mum's stuff still in his shed, and I've got jack poop. So, to me, it's just about memory. It's about, it's their earth body. It's not their soul. But still, that earth body needs to be given dignity and respect all the way through the process. So research. And look, I even say to families that ring now, oh, yes, we're just doing the ring around. You go, that's fine. And then, you may have given them information that they didn't get before, and they're going, wow, no one told me that, or, and there is also other companies that are taking, especially in Victoria, that are taking their loved ones over the border to cremate because it's cheaper for them. But to me, we've got some beautiful crematoriums and cemeteries around our area. For the sake of an extra $150, why would you, that's just, and some families aren't even telling, the companies aren't even telling the families that that's happening. If you want to go and have a look at, Four Corners funeral services, if you look up Four Corners, there is a really good documentary on some of the dodgies that happens in the industry. I think the public need to be aware of that. And that's why I probably bring out, research, because you may think, okay, and I'm telling you, big companies are in there too, that you may be, you're spending this amount of dollars, that everything's all on site, or they might have multiple branches or offices, and you think, oh, well, I went with, say, for example, this is hypothetical, I went with Frankston, and you think, oh, well, that's where Dad is. No, but their central mortuary's in Tullamarine, which is like 50 minutes away. Oh, no, they told me it's Frankston. No, they're not at Frankston. So once again, another lie, isn't it? So always ask those hard questions. You don't want to have to do it, but just ask. It's like if you went and bought a new car, same thing. What do I get? What's included? You're saying I get an extended warranty, but what's in it? I don't want to be spending thousands of dollars and not getting anything back. So, have a little bit of a think about it. And if you've got any questions, please shoot me through a message on Bremba Family Funerals or any of our TikToks. All right. I think that's important for people to know all of that. That's and I'm glad I was able to come on and be able to share some of that with you today. Look at that. That's the time. I want to thank Barbara, even though she's gone to probably get a milk arrowroot or something and a cup of tea, for coming in today and talking to us, but also for us being here and chewing fat. Well, you listening to me and I'm chewing fat, either one or the other. But thank you so much, everyone, and we will be smashing out some more podcasts along the way, so I hope you're still enjoying them all. Now, if you go on TikTok, it'll be Chris B _comedy _central. It used to be Let's Chat About Death, but people were getting offended by it. We're still on there, but most of you that listen to this podcast will already know that. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you again. Bye for now.